Hey guys, Sebastian here from Potzer Analytics with a quick tip on how to tell whether or not a king is going to catch a passed pawn. This is super handy to know, especially in blitz when both players are down on time, and you can quickly look at a position and know whether or not the king is going to catch the pawn. Here we have white with a passed pawn, he's going this way, and black only has his king to try and stop the pawn. And in this position here, it's black to move. So you could count it out in your head one move at a time and see whether or not he's going to catch the pawn. But the fast way to tell is to draw a square on the board, starting with the pawn in the corner of the square. So I'm going to draw a square here. And if black can get his king inside the square, he will be able to catch the pawn. And it doesn't matter whose turn it is when black steps inside the square. As long as black can get his king inside the square, he should be able to catch the pawn. So this position here is black to move. Let's see how it plays out. And black was able to catch the pawn. So now that you know the trick, let's look at another position here. And so here in this position, it's really similar to the previous position where white has a passed pawn and black has only his king. And we want to know whether or not black can stop the passed pawn. This position is black to move. So see if you can, just by taking a glance, you can figure out whether or not black is going to be able to catch this pawn. So I'm going to draw a square again. And this position here is black to move. So black cannot get inside the square, therefore he cannot catch the pawn. So we'll just play this out. And white was able to promote his pawn. So there is one exception to this rule. So let's look at another position here. Again, we have white with a passed pawn and black only has his king to stop it. The exception to the rule is if the pawn is on its starting square, so either on the second rank or on the 7th rank. The reason this doesn't work is because white gets to move his pawn 2 squares on the first move. So in order to make this calculation, we need to draw our square from 1 square in front of the pawn. So black needs to get his king inside this square in order to stop the pawn. And in this position, it's black to move, so black definitely can't get inside the square in one move, so he cannot stop the pawn. So let's just see how this plays out. And black can't catch the pawn. So let's just look at one final position here. So now you know the trick, and it should be really easy to do quick maths on tell whether or not the king is going to catch the pawn. So here we have black with 2 passed pawns, both going this way. This position is white to move. So the question is whether or not white has time to capture this pawn on d4 and then run over and catch the pawn on h5. So see if you can figure out whether or not white has time to catch both pawns. So let's see, in this position it's white to move, and if I draw a square from the h5 pawn, if white captures the pawn on d4, he's still inside the square, so he should be able to still run over and catch the pawn on h5. So let's play this out and see whether or not you got it right. So if you said that yes, white had time to catch both pawns, good job, you got it right, and you figured out the trick. So that's it. I hope you guys like this quick tip on the king and pawn race. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in our next lesson.